If you type technical debt on Google or Perplexity or on ChatGPT, you'll find tons of definition. What is technical debt? What are the types of technical debt? But nobody talks about how to analyze the impact, cost, and risk of technical debt in your SDLC or infrastructure or cloud world. In this video, I'm going to take a step back and going to talk about what technical debt is and how do you kind of figure out how to measure the impact and cost of technical debt on your existing project. Now, that could be a Terraform or a Pulumi project or a React or a Node project, or you're deploying a bunch of LLM models or fine-tuning your LLM models. Let's take a deep dive and look at how do you figure out technical debt. All right, let's take a look at how do you measure, how do you kind of catch a technical debt. Let's suppose I've got a infrastructure with me, infrastructure project, wherein we're spinning up a bunch of resources via Terraform on AWS. Okay, so what I've done is I've got multiple environments, and if you look at the environments, dev, prod, and staging, all of them has got main file, which kind of creates a bunch of infrastructure, application level, but if you look at the code base, it's pretty much same. It's picking up the module and it's picking up the infrastructure, but there are a lot of hard-coded values. So if you go to the apps, if you go over here, you'll figure out that there are multiple apps stack created and with a lot of hard-coded value like instance type or the key pair name, which is hard-coded for a particular environment. Similarly, for prod as well, it is hard-coded as prod key pair, and all of that. However, the code typically looks same. Even if you look at the how to create a load balancer, you see that the code is written multiple times without even the use of any for loop or for each loops. If you look at over here, there's 1 LB, there's 3 LB, there's 4 LB. You could have ideally used a for each loop to create these together. So these are part of your technical debt, because let's suppose they wanted to really achieve things quicker because they wanted to spin up those infrastructure real quick. Now I'll give you another example how to detect a technical debt. So technical debt in a simple language, consider technical debt as same as your financial debt, wherein you take a loan, certain amount of loan to fulfill your wishes, in this case, to create softwares or to create features really quick. Now, you might want to say, let's suppose you're a project manager and you have been given a task to build up an MVP. Now, when you go to developer, you kind of tell him that what is the requirement and the UI UX needs to be made within 3 months. Now, developer says it's going to take 6 months. You say what are the features or what are the things which we can cut down, which can bring the development time from 6 months to 3 months. He says that we can eradicate these features and we can get it down to 4 months. You're still not convinced. You say that how do we gonna bring it down from 4 months to 3 months? A developer says we don't have to write test-driven development. We don't have to write any unit or integration test. We can keep building features. Now you're risking these unit test and integration test or test-driven development against achieving the MVP real quick, which is like 3 months. Now, if you keep writing code without TDD or without test, it's going to hit you back in the longer run when the MVP is completed. So you got to realize when you are going to make sure that it's time to handle tech debt. So tech debt is nothing but a debt or a shortcut which you take now in order to make sure to achieve the features or build the features really quick, taking the loan of time, or in this case, generally taking the loan of features or not writing those test-driven development. I'll show you how you can perhaps make sure that you don't understand what technical debt and how to figure out the technical debt. So I'll perhaps try to show you how to identify technical debts. I've got a repo of bunch of infrastructure code, which has got Terraform code on it and written for multiple environments. So if you look at over here, there are multiple folders created for each environment, and all of them has got the same code, which hard-coded value as well, with a lot of environment level details as well. Ideally, what you should have done is you could have just one big module and used it as the same module to create for multiple environments. So that's one way to identify the technical debt. Another way is, if you look at over here, there's a bunch of commented code, which is against the fundamental of writing cleaner code. If you look at over here, the security group, auto scaling group over here, auto scaling group over here. Ideally, you could have used a for each or a count loop to make sure that you're not repeating the same piece of code again and again. These are manual way of figuring out a technical debt. However, there's a better way as well. If you go to Codo and make sure that your plugin installer in Visual Studio Code, if you just type in the comment that do a technical review of this Terraform repository, be specific around environmental drift, copy pasted, which we spoke about, hard coded ARNs and whatnot, and find out the non-technical debt as well. I'm going to send it to Codo, and you can select the models as well. Starting from, so we've got buffet of models starting from GPT-5 to Opus to Grok and Sonnet as well. So I'm going to let it do the analysis. All right, Codo has tried to process almost all the files now. Now it's trying to create a technical debt. While it is trying to create a technical debt, there are different ways of figuring out a debt. Another way is probably you can create a template. Now you can mention the debt item, whether it's about performance, about UI, UX, or software testing, or infrastructure problem. Created the date, technical area, front end, back end, MLOps, or something else, and the technical type. Depth. Now it could be security, performance, or speed, or scalability. Now status, whether it has been identified or not. Impact. Now you've got to gauge your technical debt impact based on cost and risk. If it's got a lot more risk than compared to cost, you probably want to make sure that you handle it way quicker. Effort, how much time it's going to take, and priority. So try to make sure that to include technical debt as a part of your tech grooming sessions or your sprint planning session. Now let's go back and check what Codo has done. So I'm going to accept it. If you look at over here, it's has figured out the technical debt beautifully. It has what it has done is it has created a quick readmd file where it has figured out that what are the issues, and it is outdated by one version, and then it has got divided into stories. So you can come back over here and take a look at the detailed issues right over here based on the priority and the severity as well. So this is one way of figuring out a technical debt, and you can keep solving it, iterate on top of it. Another way to make sure that you kind of don't fall into trap of technical debt is you kind of keep generating guardrails policy. Let's suppose I want to generate a policy to avoid the same technical debt found in the repo. Now that included, make sure that there's a policy for hard-coded value, for module stacking, versioning. As soon as you hit enter, Codo is going to start generating OPA/rego policy to make sure that next time you don't fall into the trap of technical debt. All right, to sum up, technical debt could be divided into 4 categories. The first category is deliberate plus prudent. You know that this is a shortcut, but still you are doing it because you want to achieve things really quick. Now that could be hard coding an AMI value or making sure a older dependency is used. So you know that you're deliberately doing it and you're very thoughtful about it. The second one is deliberate plus reckless. You know that this is a technical debt, this is wrong, but still you are doing it just to make sure to complete your story or to just deliver the features you've been asked for, which is not fair and has to be curbed or mitigated ASAP. The third category is invertent plus prudent. With the best information or skill set available, you did what you could do. There was not anything beyond you could do. So it's a fair call to take because you had limited information, limited resources, and you had to take this step. The last one, which is the most dangerous one, is inverted plus reckless. You know it's a risk, still you chose to do it. You had option to curb it, but just for the sake of comfort or situation, or could be completing the story points, you still ended up doing it. Right? These are 4 categories which you can divide your technical debt and make sure you kind of figure out which one you need to address real quick. While we've been talking about types of technical debt, Codo has already given us the risk pattern, the rules it has already created, and make sure that these aren't repeated again. All right, that's it about technical debt. Now, if you really care about code quality, code review of your AI generated code, go ahead and try Codo. Now that works on Visual Studio Code or IntelliJ as well, whether you're working on a cloud stack, tech stack, infrastructure, Terraform, Pulumi, or you're working on a SDLC lifecycle. Codo is an AI code review platform, the real missing stack when it comes to AI code generation. So it makes sure that you're only shipping what's needed, what's production ready, and you're not getting into the trap of technical debt. If you really want to get started and take a look at what technical debt is, take a deeper look at what technical debt is, Kodo's engineering team has created a full-length blog wherein you can take a deeper look at different use cases, how to figure out technical debt, and how to act on it as well. If you like such video, go ahead and press the subscribe button and make sure to hit the like as well. If you want us to cover any other topics around AI code review or AI code generation, make sure to comment in the comment section as well, and we'll take a look at the next one. All right, that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.